governance structure for the facility. So the fact that it's housed within the CSIR, it will need to just follow the CSIR framework, but ideally the facility will be operated on a day-to-day basis by a project manager who will oversee the running and operations of the facility. And then we're currently in the process of putting together a steering committee for the facility who will assist in the strategic direction of the facility and ensuring that it aligns well to industry needs, and then as well as putting together a project selection panel. So both of these two panels, the steering committee and the project selection panel, they are 50% based with internal CSIR members and external members to the CSIR, as well as being industry members and academic members. So we want to be able to be in a situation where the technology featured within the facility is well aligned to industry. So that's where our industry steering committee will play a role, as well as assessing the technical excellence of the technology that features within the facility that will be assisted through the academic partnerships. So the business process of how we see this year going forward. So in addition to running a couple of flagship programs through the facility to help us assist and iron out our business model, as well as the cost structure for the facility and the revenue structure for the facility, the additional aspects that we see taking place within the course of this year are we want to finalize the panel selection committee and the steering committee quite soon, and then we'll send out a call for proposals. So please all look out for when we send out the call for proposals. If you have any technology that you think would be a suitable candidate to play a role in the PPF, or just come and chat to me if you see me around at this event, and we can exchange details so I can make sure that you get the call. And then once the call is sent out, it will be evaluated by the panels, the panel selection committee, and then also the steering committee will have the final say on the projects that feature within the facility. So we're seeing that projects within the facility will take place early next year. Okay, so the screening criteria for the facility is that we want the science behind the technology to have been performed. So ideally, the first exclusion criteria is that it needs to sit at a certain TRL level, that the proof of concept of the technology has to be demonstrated. And then the other aspects that we'll be looking at in terms of the technology or the proposals that get submitted to the facility are the inventiveness of the technology, how novel is the technology, how attractive is it to the market. Does the person who's submitting the technology, do they understand the other competitive space where their technology will play a role, as well as the business strength? So in terms of the financial forecasts that are proposed for this technology, as well as how well does it align to our current initiatives. So for example, as Francois was saying, looking at some of the lighthouse projects within the road mapping initiative and trying to align those well with the roadmap initiative. Okay, so this is just a very rough overview of the workflow process within the PPF, and then I'll just highlight how it actually features within the facility. So the two roles that will take place that will run in parallel are design discussions and realization through software programs will take place with the PPF team, and at the same time a tabletop demonstrator of the technology will be performed. And then based on the outcome of these two tasks, this will give us an idea of how the prototype will be constructed. So this will assist in procuring items for the prototype, as well as any items that need to be manufactured within the facility. And then once we've acquired and manufactured these components, it'll be assembled into the initial prototype, and this will just be an iterative process with the client and the market to get to a prototype that is well aligned to a market-ready state. At that point, it'll either exit the market into a current industry or into the form of a new SMME. So before technology features within the facility, any of the legal requirements in terms of our role to the stakeholder and the stakeholder's role to the PPF will be finalized, as well as non-disclosure agreements will be signed. And then we'll have discussions and realization and computer realizations will be performed in the discussion room. And then any parts that need to be manufactured will be done in the mechanical workshop. And in the 3 clean rooms, we'll have a room where we'll do the tabletop demonstration, as well as the characterization of the tabletop demonstrator, in order to give us an idea of how to proceed with the prototype. And then the following 2 clean rooms will be used for the prototype development. Okay, so just to finalize, this is the conclusion slide. The PPF will be interacting with stakeholders, so both public and private sector, via various workshops to further unpack and identify the value chain within the South African photonics community. And it's also very important for us to integrate our activity in relation to the Photonics Road Mapping Initiative. So we have been working quite closely with Francois on this aspect. And we want to try and understand we want to try and obtain a more detailed understanding of the industry value chain within the South African economy. So if you are interested in this initiative, please just come chat to me when you see me around. Otherwise, I'm going to leave my details, or the details for the facility, on this last slide. And during the tea break, we put down just a flyer advertising the facility. So all the details that you'll need for the facility as well appear on that flyer. Yeah. So thank you very much.